I got my steering wheel, obviously, and so I've got sort of a mock-up here for my dash, and I also, steering helm, hydraulic steering helm came also. And I've seen about how far this foam, 2-inch foam, I'm planning on having 2-inch padded seats. And so this simulates that, and it seems like the steering wheel is a little bit close and the dash a little close, especially when you try to get down in here. And I had my wife get in too, and she agrees that this dash really needs to go forward like 3 inches, which of course I epoxied this long ago, years actually, several years ago. I don't remember exactly when. And now, I wished I hadn't done that, which I had no way of knowing, but I did kind of do the recommended distance from here to here as far as I thought. I mean, plans don't call that out, but I use this scale drawing to help me with that. But I just really feel like it's too far back. So this is going to be a little scary because I'm going to have to cut right along here of this deck beam, cut the deck beam there, and cut all these battens and cut off, I'm thinking 3 inches right now, and then move it forward. And I've got enough distance like from the front to here, so it's not going to look funny. But it will, when you get up in the boat and to allow you to be able to stand on the floor, which the floor is not in at the moment. I'm actually working on that. There's really not a lot of room. You pretty much have to be on the seats or it feels kind of crowded in here. Now this dash mock-up will actually, the dash in the middle will be 1 inch, it won't be this tall, it'll be 1 inch shorter than what this is, and I'll probably curve it slightly is what I'm thinking. So anyway, that's what's going on. It's gonna be scary, but it's gotta be done. So I did the scary cuts, and so I've cut the deck beam and cut all these, and I took out 2 inches. I was thinking I was going to go 3, but I wanted to start with 2. And when I sit in it, it's definitely a lot better. I am going to go ahead and trim this template piece, this mock-up, up 1 inch, just so it matches what I'm thinking the dash actually will be. But it's definitely better. There's more room down here, so somebody could actually stand there at least a little bit. But so I need to decide if I want to go more or not. But yeah, a little scary. So these, of course, I will need to, underneath here, I'll put epoxy support pieces all along there, and then you'll never know it once I put decking on. And the angle of the dash, I think that's roughly what I want. And then the angle of the steering wheel is a little more than the dash, which I think is probably what I will do height-wise. I mean, that's not exactly where that steering wheel is going to go, but it's close. So I'll keep working on it. So I did end up cutting out another inch. So I moved this back a total of, ended up being 3 inches kind of by chance. And I think that's as far as I'm going to go. And so, in this angle, the dash, I didn't check if that's what this is, but I'm going for somewhere around 12-ish degrees, I think, to kind of balance having a little bit of an angle, but not too much where the bottom sticks out a little bit, because just for a little more standing room down there, I do have the flooring in, just sitting in there right now, but and I do have the steering helm temporarily mounted, and you can see I've got 2 support pieces in between these 2 battens that then I'll mount that. I've got this. I'm probably going to use either thicker plywood or just regular lumber for this piece, but I just have a temporary 12mm cut for now. And I've got, you can see these 2 supports, so those will get screwed into these support pieces, and I'm just trying to see how this is going to work, but I think it's going to work pretty good. I want that to be reasonably strong, plus these will help provide support to the deck beam, even though this will get glued back over here, but I had to cut out a lot of this deck beam, so there's not a lot of strength there, which it's not like people will be standing on that. And the dash, once the dash is in place, it'll provide some support, but again, I don't plan on people standing on the dash, so it's just if people stand up or not, they might push down on the steering wheel. So I want to at least be able to handle that. And of course, this piece is just my temporary template, but it is the shape that I'm going for. And you can see how I went, a little hard to see, but I did do a little curve down below where the steering helm is, and then it curves up on both sides. So, and I think that's the height that it will be. Now I can't remember if it is or not. I think it is. It's supposed to be something like 6.5 inches in the center there. Let me check that. Okay, so it's a little over 6.5, but I think I'm going to go for 6.5 inches. And so when you get, you can stand in here a little better. I mean, it's not like there's tons of room, obviously. But the other thing I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about this front edge of these seats is just kind of curve. Start from here and just make a curve in somehow. Curve in so in the center, curve back out. I might do something like that just to provide a little more standing room, because these hang over. I mean, I did that on purpose, but so in the middle, again, maybe I'll do a curve like that. Something to provide a little more room in there, but we'll see. Another thing to figure out if I want to do or not. But, and as far as the distance from here to here, my steering wheel, I think that is where I want it. And that dimension is, well, what is it? I forget what it is, 11.5-ish or so inches, just for reference. And I picked that, tried to center it, basically a centered on this port, or starboard seat, driver's seat. That's where I got that dimension. So anyway, I'm getting there. The other thing I wanted to mention is there's a port on the top of these hydraulic steering helms, and you got to be able to access it. So it sticks out far enough that I'll be able to access it. That's how you'll fill it and with the steering fluid and things. So there won't be tons of room, but it'll be good enough, because the dash or the decking will hang over a little bit, but I'll still be able to get to it. And so that is one thing that you got to keep in mind with these. And I did not, some people just mount the helm right on the dash so it sticks out a lot more. Well, I just don't have that kind of room, and it would make the steering wheel quite a bit farther away from the dash, which isn't necessarily bad, but I just didn't have that kind of room. So something to consider and keep in mind, because if you do what I did, then obviously you could have some way of mounting it further back, and it's at an angle, and so you got to deal with that. As you can see, it's going to be roughly 12 degrees. So another thing to keep in mind. So I've got some updates about this deck beam, and remember I had to cut all these to move it back 3 inches. Well, I've got the support pieces all cut. I'll go under there. I have not epoxied them yet. And I've got support here and a blocking there and on the other side. And then I also, you can see where I've cut away. There used to be blocking here. This used to stick way out. And so I've got that cut away and cut at an angle, and this is cut and then sanded down. Of course, I will seal this back up so it'll clean that up. Did the same over there. And so now I've got my deck beam board here that it's cut to length. I need to trim a little bit on the edges, or the ends, I mean, to get it to fit. It's a little bit tight fit in here. And then I'll cut the curves to shape here, because obviously it's just one big straight piece. So, making some more progress here on the dash.